Who is Gabriel? Mission Impossible 7's villain and past with Ethan explained Mission Impossible. Dead Reckoning introduces a new villain to the franchise with Asa Morales Gabriel, and he has a surprising past with Ethan Hunt worth explaining. The 7th Mission Impossible movie puts Ethan Hunt back in a position where he is forced to save the world from an unimaginable threat. The latest installment sees Tom Cruise's IMF agent work with familiar faces, and some new ones in a race to acquire the key and stop a new AI villain known as the Entity. They are met with opposition along the way, namely Mission Impossible 7's villain, Gabriel. There is a strong track record of Mission Impossible movie villains who oppose Ethan Hunt and the IMF, with the two most recent installments focusing on Solomon Lane. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning takes the franchise in a new direction with the introduction of Gabriel and his deadly assassin Paris, as well as the terror-inducing threat the Entity poses. While the movie brings back former antagonist Kittredge, Asa Morales' character also has a past with Ethan Hunt. Here is a breakdown of Gabriel's history, plan, and more in Mission Impossible 7. The introduction of Gabriel in Mission Impossible 7 is as the leader of the Entity's followers. Gabriel is quickly established as a skilled, manipulative, and menacing threat who has enough charm to get his way and is cunning enough to outsmart others. He is aided constantly by the powerful AI he serves, which allows him to not be detected at airports and gain information he would otherwise not be privy to. Gabriel commands a group of like-minded individuals who want to follow the Entity and live in a world where the artificial intelligence program runs the world one way or another. The trade-off is Gabriel doing most of the Entity's dirty work and being a vessel for its thoughts and plan. The reason that Gabriel serves the Entity in Mission Impossible 7 is simplified to his desire to inflict more pain and suffering upon the world. He has a reputation for this behavior, and the movie indicates that Asa Morales' character now wants to see it happen on a larger scale. This is why he seeks out the key in Mission Impossible 7 so that the Entity will remain free and in charge. The big reveal before Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning's ending is that Gabriel and Ethan Hunt have a past together. The previously unexplored relationship in the franchise is included through brief flashbacks that show an encounter between the two men many years ago. The interaction left a lasting imprint on Ethan Hunt and Gabriel, so much so that both men instantly recognize each other when they cross paths again. This is partially due to Gabriel knowing that Ethan was part of the Entity's plan, but it is clear he would remember Ethan even without the AI. The exact nature of their history is a bit more ambiguous. The key detail that connects Gabriel's past to Ethan Hunt's in Mission Impossible 7 comes with the reveal that the villain killed someone close to Ethan years ago. The flashbacks show Gabriel shooting a woman named Marie before Ethan was able to save her. Mission Impossible 7 does not reveal much else about Marie, only that she was an important woman in Ethan's life. This leaves it up for debate if she was a love interest, a relative, or something else. The scene is used to parallel Gabriel being responsible for Ilse Faust's death in Mission Impossible 7. Despite what little Mission Impossible 7 reveals about Gabriel and Ethan's past together, the movie does make the franchise's newest antagonist responsible for the entire series in a way. This is because Ethan says that Gabriel created him in a sense as a result of his actions. Gabriel killing Marie put Ethan in a position where he could either choose life in prison or become part of the IMF. Using his particular set of skills, Ethan joined the IMF and began his life as a world-saving spy. This gives Mission Impossible 7's Gabriel a greater importance to the franchise overall. The reveal of Gabriel's past also means bringing a better understanding of Ethan Hunt's origin and motivation. It stands to reason that a desire to get revenge on Gabriel for Marie's death was a driving force behind Ethan joining the IMF even if he never found his oldest foe until Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. This confirms that Ethan Hunt did not willingly choose the spy life, even if he now always chooses to accept his mission assignments. He was forced into a position where becoming a spy was the best outcome, and one that might award him revenge. The way Mission Impossible 7 introduces Gabriel as a figure from Ethan's past might leave audiences confused about his presence in the franchise overall. However, Gabriel was not in any previous Mission Impossible movies. Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the first time that Issa Morales plays the villain character, and this part of Ethan's origin was established. The franchise is effectively using Gabriel as a means to explore Ethan's past at long last. This does mean that his introduction is somewhat of a retcon for the series, considering Gabriel has never been seen or mentioned before Mission Impossible 7. Gabriel and the Entity have an elaborate plan in Mission Impossible 7 that is meant to end with Gabriel in possession of the key. This included orchestrating events that would lead to the White Widow being left with a choice of whom to sell the key to, needing to kill either Ilsa or Grace, and finally acquiring the completed key on the train. Although the plan might have changed along the way, the ultimate plan was for Gabriel to escape the train with the key and be the only person to know the location of the Entity's source code. Ethan Hunt ruins Gabriel and the Entity's plan before it takes shape in Mission Impossible 8's story. This is because Ethan sneakily steals the key back from Gabriel during their fight on top of the train. Gabriel's reaction to finding Ethan's lighter in his pocket instead of the key after escaping the train confirms that the plan did not go as expected. The switch means that Ethan leaves the train with the completed key and the knowledge that he needs to locate the sunken Russian submarine, Sevastopol, to access the source code after Paris tells him the truth. While Paris saving Ethan's life and telling him about Sevastopol was part of the Entity's predicted outcome, Ethan having the key was not. It appears that the plan was meant to include Ethan learning of the location he would need to go next to stop Gabriel and begin a hunt to find his old nemesis. Instead, Gabriel losing the key in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning means he is the one who will be on the hunt for Ethan. This changes the Entity's plan moving forward, as it will have to predict Ethan's behavior and find the notoriously hard-to-catch spy. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning will not be the end of Gabriel's story, as the villain is confirmed to return in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. It would be incredibly strange for the franchise not to bring him back based on where Dead Reckoning leaves his story, unless the Entity betrays him after failing to accomplish the plan. This is not expected to be the direction Mission Impossible 8 goes, as the sequel should instead provide plenty of opportunities for Gabriel's past, motivations, and more to be explored. Gabriel joins an impressive roster of Mission Impossible villains who have faced off against Ethan Hunt in these movies. Gabriel was certainly set up with the possibility of being the most impactful of them all, especially given his dark history with Ethan. However, the execution has not been very strong yet. Issa Morales gives a solid performance, but hasn't been given a lot to do in the role compared to some of the other standout villains of the franchise. This is partially because the first film kept so much of his story a secret. In terms of the other villains, Gabriel certainly ranks above Mission Impossible. Ghost Protocol's Cobalt, who barely gets any dialogue and is largely a non-entity until the end of the movie. Sean Ambrose in Mission Impossible I was meant to be a mirror of Ethan, but was never very interesting as a character. Jim Phelps in the first movie had a nice personal connection to Ethan as his mentor-turned-traitor, but the twist meant he only really became a villain in the third act. Gabriel ranks somewhere along the same lines as Solomon Kane from Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation and Mission Impossible, Fallout. Kane is the only other villain to appear in 2 movies. However, like Gabriel, he is a formidable villain with a strong performance, only for the plot around him to feel a little flimsy.